If you really want to learn what something's about, just write a book. I remember when I wrote White Girl Bleed a lot, the first book where I talked about black mob violence and all the denial, deceit, and delusion around it, where we documented it in the exact same way we documented the later book, Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. But especially on the first one, after I wrote the first one, I was kind of a gun guy before that, but more in sympathy, not really making guns a part of my own life. But after I wrote that book, and after a lot of people started reading it, a lot of people started, sending me email and posting on this YouTube channel saying, Colin, everybody you show, everybody that's a victim of this violence, they didn't have to be a victim. They could have defended themselves with a concealed carry permit. Almost everybody. Some states that's not possible, but but if you're living in a place where it's not possible to defend yourself, that's not living. That's suicide. And so that's what we're going to see in these videos here. The very first one, it's like, this guy made a choice. He made a choice a long time ago that he was going to defend his family. The other people made a choice that worrying about this level of black hostility, black resentment, black on white crime that often results in murder, wildly out of proportion, that's not something they had to worry about.
Now to a story for anyone who does any online shopping, and that, of course, includes tens of millions of us. A lesson in just how quick a good deal can go very dangerous. This exclusive surveillance video here showing what happened when a LaPorte teenager invited a complete stranger into her home so that she could buy a cell phone. The buyer had other plans and terrorized the family with a gun before that teen's dad fought back. So many of us buy and sell things online, and since 4 o'clock, we've talked to the experts, learning just how to get the best deal the safest way. Eyewitness News reporter Marla Carter now has all of this new at 6 o'clock. Marla?
A lot of people are buying and selling things online every single day, and that is just what these parking spots are dedicated to. This is LaPorte PD, and they want to make sure those exchanges are safe and they're done under 24-hour surveillance.
A mother is terrified as a suspect drags her to her front door with a gun pointed to her head. Her daughter feverishly runs inside to meet the suspect's demands for money. Ted Webster ran outside and saw the gun to his wife's head.
I just grabbed the barrel of the gun in his wrist with my hands to get him away from my wife's head.
He tackled Daniel to the ground and then ran and grabbed his gun. Then Webster said the suspect pointed a gun at him. Webster said he was forced to shoot the suspect, who police say later died. Webster says the suspect, Joshua Daniels, was at their home because he had agreed to sell a phone to their daughter on the site called OfferUp.
We'll always make sure it's a public place where we know there's going to be cameras and people around.
But this time, they didn't. And from now on, they always will. LaPorte PD even created special spots for those exchanges to happen in their parking lot.
Anytime that you're going to attempt to meet with a stranger to exchange goods or money or anything like that, you've got to be extremely cautious. And that's why we're always looking out for our citizens and provide such a zone for them.
As the detective said, if you tell them you want to meet in a police station, if they're genuine, they'll be happy to meet in a police station because it's for their security too.
So this is the camera right here on the side of the LaPorte Police Station building, and it's capturing all the activity right here in those parking spots, again, dedicated to exchanges. Police say those exchange spots are used every single day.
Metro Police say they've arrested a man who shot and killed a pregnant woman. 27-year-old Jonathan McGee will now face murder charges. He was already in custody in Johnson County in an unrelated case. Police believe he shot and killed 18-year-old Brittany McNew on the west side near Michigan and Tibbs. McNew's boyfriend says the couple was checking out a TV for sale at the time.
Last night, we heard from a grandmother still shaken up after she was kidnapped and robbed.
Dallas police say 3 teenagers grabbed the woman at gunpoint.
They forced her into the backseat of her truck, taking her to an ATM. And tonight, police released photos of the wanted attackers in hopes of catching them. So take a good look. Fox 4's Lynn Ann Wynn has more now from Uptown Dallas. Lynn Ann.
Well, Steve, Heather, Brenda Capo says she was only held captive at gunpoint in her truck for about 45 minutes, but it seemed like several hours. At one point, they ended up at this Wells Fargo where surveillance videos captured those kidnappers. She's hoping somebody can recognize them before they terrorize anyone else.
It's hard to explain. It's like it's not you. It's like it didn't happen to you.
Brenda Cabos was in Dallas for the week to meet her new grandchild. She was unloading some things from her truck in the front of the Olympus Apartments on Ross when she was caught off guard.
I bent over to get my suitcase and all of a sudden had a pistol, guns on either side. And these kids were young. They were children.
What unfolded next for Cabos was nearly an hour of terror.
They had a gun in my back and one at each side and started shoving me into the back, told me to get in the car or I was dead.
Capos says they drove around Old East Dallas to nearby townhomes to show off the truck they stole to someone. All the while, the captors holding multiple guns at Capos. Still, she says she thought about trying to escape.
He would look away out the window, and when he would look away, the gun would pull away a little. You know, and he wouldn't have quite the grip on it that he had. And you would think, you know, this is my opportunity.
The group ended up at a busy Wells Fargo bank on McKinney in Uptown, where surveillance cameras captured images of the 3 kidnappers trying to use Capos's card at an ATM. But she says they couldn't get her card to work.
My thought was that my daughter would wake up. My daughter would wake up and find out I was gone.
Finally, the group drove to a dark area and the 3 abductors jumped out of the truck.
I don't know where I was. I just stepped on the gas.
Though Capos survived, her nightmare is not over. Dallas police still need to find the 3 attackers who are still out there.
I kept wondering, when did this end? When does this end? How does this end?
And Capos tells us that the thieves took her purse, suitcase, and cell phone. She also tells us that she believes it was some kind of initiation because the thieves made that stop at those townhomes to show off the truck. Steve, Heather, back to you.
All right, Lynn Ann, thank you.
A choice is up to you, isn't it? I know the local news stations would like to make this story, especially the first and second one, about how all this stuff is happening on Craigslist and all these other websites where you meet up and buy and sell stuff. Okay, that's a deflection. Maybe important to know, but it's a deflection. I mean, they'll seize on anything so they can avoid talking about this enormous level of black criminality and how it's so wildly out of proportion. I mean, that's the rule. That's the game. And you win by not making the black kids angry.